KSI's hypocrisy has finally caught up to him, and even his own fans are starting to turn on him. After he pulled out of his fight with dazn, claiming he was too sick to compete, but was then seen performing at a club the same night the fight was supposed to happen. He mocked dazn for pulling out of their last fight after his father's death. He clowned Alex Wasabi for withdrawing due to an injury, and now after pulling out of yet another fight, his fans are starting to call him out for his hypocrisy after constantly bragging about being the best influencer boxer without ever proving it. KSI's fight with dazn was announced on the 5th of February, and it was immediately met with criticism and backlash, since Dylan's last fight with Logan Paul, where he threw no punches, was incredibly boring, along with criticizing the choice of opponent, since dazn has never thrown a single punch, and KSI already beat the guy that beat Dylan. But some people like me were still excited for the fight. Although Dylan's never thrown a punch, there's one thing he can do, and that's create drama and controversy. I wasn't really excited to see the fight because I knew what was going to happen. KSI was going to bash the shit out of Dylan, but I was excited to see what the controversy and the build up to the fight would look like, since the build up to Dylan's fight with Logan was very exciting. Although the fight didn't really deliver, the build up nonetheless was still entertaining to watch. But people like me couldn't have been more wrong. The build up to KSI vs dazn was incredibly underwhelming and boring. Apparently KSI had written out in the contract to the fight that Dylan can't talk about certain topics like his family and mainly his girlfriend, which was Dylan's ammo against Logan. So KSI made sure to put that in a contract saying that Dylan couldn't talk about KSI's girlfriend. And although she's not a public figure like Logan's girlfriend, I'm sure Dylan still would have been able to use that to stir up some controversy, but he couldn't, because now there was written out in a contract saying he couldn't say anything about KSI's relationship. It is a little bit of a low blow. I think in the fight game, anything goes. You're fighting, you're getting in the ring to punch the shit out of each other. I think you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want, really. And this is all kind of getting weird. Now you're putting in contracts that people can't even talk. But nonetheless, they did fire some shots back and forth at each other, and during the press conference, Dylan even got slapped by KSI. The face-to-face was boring and it felt kind of awkward at times. And overall, it was just a very, very underwhelming build-up. Considering Dylan's last fight with Logan, that shit was just fireworks everywhere. Every single day there was something new. All sorts of shit was happening, and this just felt very tame compared to it. And after KSI posted this video here on Twitter, the fight ended up getting cancelled.
Hey everyone, I'm going to try and make this quick. Me versus dazn. It's just not going to happen March 29th, man. I've tried my hardest, but my body has legit just given up. I'm currently in bed, taking antibiotics, trying to recover, but I'm struggling. I'm coughing up greenish yellow shit all the time. My sinuses are hurting to the point where I need ibuprofen every day. The tension headaches right here that I'm getting are more painful than you can imagine. I'm using Sudafed daily. I've tried sparring and training and my body just feels weak. My stamina is just falling off a cliff. I can't even taste right now or smell. Basically, I'm fucked. I've been ill for almost 3 weeks and it's just not got better.
And this is where many people like me were starting to get sick of KSI. This is now the second fight he's pulled out of, and pulling out because of a cold just doesn't seem that authentic. Especially considering KSI said he's been sick for weeks, and yet he was spotted just a few weeks ago running around perfectly fine at the sidemen charity match. And people were starting to point out KSI's hypocrisy when he mocked Dylan years ago for pulling out of their fight due to his dad passing away, even dedicating an entire YouTube video to dazn. Or what about the fight he had scheduled with Alex Wasabi, where Alex pulled out due to a concussion and KSI didn't believe him? He was calling Alex a pussy. He was saying all these things. He made tons of YouTube videos directly mocking Alex Wasabi, and now KSI is pulling out due to a sickness. And I think this was a perfect opportunity for KSI to really prove that he can talk the talk and walk the walk. After saying he's levels above everyone in the influencer space, after saying he's way better than Jake Paul, he could have used this as an opportunity to say, fuck it, I'm sick, but I'll still go in there and beat up dazn. He could use this as an opportunity to really prove how much better he is than everyone in the scene, because the fight was still a week away. And not to mention, it was dazn. He's never thrown a punch. The guy that beat dazn, you already beat. I think he could have gone in there sick and still won. I think he still had enough time to recover, to be honest. He could have pulled a Michael Jordan and done a flu game. You know what I'm saying? Like Michael Jordan did, and still came out and performed. He could have done the same type of shit and really shown his levels above everyone. But now people are really starting to point out the hypocrisy here. He makes fun of his past opponents for pulling out, and now he does the same shit twice. This is the second fight he's pulled out of. He pulled out of his 2v1 versus Slim and Anthony Taylor for a hand injury, and now he's pulling out due to a sickness against dazn. But it would end up getting even worse, because the night the fight was supposed to happen, KSI was seen performing at a club. After one of his teammates from his gym posted this video, And this is where people really started to turn on him. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. You said you were sick, so you pulled out of the fight. Maybe that can get a pass, although I still think it's inexcusable considering the level of opponent. But then he was seen performing at a club the same night the fight was supposed to happen. What kind of shit is this? Like, I used to be a fan of KSI, but it's really hard to support him when he continues to claim he's the best in the scene. He's way better than Jake Paul, but none of his opponents are better than Jake's. He claims he's way better than Jake Paul, and yet now he's the one that's pulling out of fights. He's doing the exact shit that he's mocked people in the past for. He's fighting people who've never boxed, and he criticized Jake for it. He tried fighting a soccer player, but yet criticized Jake for fighting a basketball player. People are really starting to get sick of the hypocrisy, and me too. He's doing the exact shit that he makes fun of everyone else for doing. He mocks Jake for fighting old people, yet tried to fight a 44-year-old soccer player. He didn't want Dylan to talk about his girlfriend and put it in the contract, but then talked about the soccer player Wayne Bridge, talked about his relationship. But he doesn't want anyone to do it to himself. Even fans of KSI are starting to call him out on his hypocrisy, and they're getting sick of it. I used to be a Jake Paul hater, but now I'm leaning towards Jake more than KSI. And a couple days after he pulled out of his fight, he was live streaming. He said this.
Carl Freezy with the donation. We still on for our night out on Saturday as planned. Carl, yeah. What night out, mate? I'm not going anywhere. Nah, you've set me up there. You absolute twat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alright, yeah, sick, man. Great banter. Brilliant banter. Oh, piss off. For the record, I'm not going out Saturday night. I'm not going out. I'm not clubbing. I don't even like going clubs. I ain't clubbing. I ain't going nowhere.
You can't take this shit seriously, man. You cannot take him seriously anymore. The guy is a #1 hypocrite. Everything he criticizes everyone else for, he does. He promises, I'm not going out clubbing. I hate clubbing. But then he was seen at a club. Man, I can't take that. I really don't understand how people can still support the guy after this, man. I really don't understand. And this is coming from someone who was a fan of his. I used to be a Jake Paul hater, and now it's hard not to hate KSI. This is ridiculous. This is genuinely ridiculous. And the guy's the biggest hypocrite I've ever seen. His fans are starting to call him out. You're a hypocrite. You trashed Alex and Dylan for pulling out. At least apologize to Alex Wasabi for calling him Pusabi, because this is your second pullout. You told Dylan not to pull out, but you did. I understand he's ill, but he didn't care about Alex's concussion. Very true, man. And he made 10 videos mocking Alex. Alex had a more legit reason to pull out than KSI did. And KSI is fighting someone who's never thrown a punch. Bro, it's 8 days away. He got time to recover from a cold, surely. KSI, he needs to change his name to LSI, man. The guy just keeps taking L's. And I think he should honestly just stop boxing. The level of opponents he's trying to fight are rubbish, are so far beneath him, it's not even a close fight. At least Jake fights fighters. They're not boxers, but they're high-level UFC fighters. He fought Mike Tyson, although I wasn't a fan of that fight. Mike Tyson is still a boxer versus Dylan Dennis. KSI claims to be the best in the scene. He says he wants to show his levels. Every time, he just talks the talk and he can't walk the walk. He fought Tommy Fury a few years ago, and although that was a close fight, every single fight he's tried to make since has been a downgrade in opponent. He is way worse than Jake. Jake is gonna mop the floor with him.